everyone. Welcome back to Phenomenon Paranormal Podcast. Again, I am Christina.
I'm Allie.
And I'm Anthony.
And we have a fun one for you today because we are going to do an actual paranormal investigation experiment, one of our favorite techniques to do, called the Estes Method. And I'm going to have Anthony explain that to you and how it was developed in just a bit. But I wanted to start out by kind of going back to, we talked on our very first episode in our audio podcast about something called the quantum consciousness. And I bring this up because we believe it ties into what spirit communication actually is, or how it actually can affect something like using a spirit box to try and reach out to the other side.
Right.
So the quantum consciousness theory came up after an anesthesiologist and a neuroscientist got together, and they're trying to kind of discover what it is like people report near-death experiences, especially from the anesthesiologist's point of view. He essentially shuts people's brains off to go under surgery. That's what you're doing when you put someone under anesthesia. And then he would have patients come out and explain these very elaborate scenarios, or seeing themselves that they're hovering over the operating table or in recovery, or the fact that they saw dead loved ones. And it made him very curious, why is that such a constant thing that can happen?
Right.
So through lots of research and testing, they found, and this just happened a few years ago, where they came out and said that they believe they discovered what the soul is, the soul of a person. Mm-hmm. And for me, this theory makes so much sense because, I have a background working in the medical field for many years. And, what people don't often think about is the brain itself is an electrical organ. Mm-hmm. It runs your entire body. It sends electrical impulses that make everything function. So essentially, it's often referred to as a supercomputer. Mm-hmm. And the reason being that there are what they call these microtubules in your brain. Mm-hmm. That's what stores information that you learn throughout your life. It stores your memories. And all of that is kept in these microtubules. And so what they discovered happens is when you are shutting someone's brain down, same thing as if they had a brain injury and they are considered brain dead, whatever it may be, all of that information sort of disperses into, for lack of a better way to put it, into the ether, into wherever, into what they consider a quantum, all-encompassing consciousness. Yeah. Okay, now if somebody comes out of anesthesia, they discovered it's possible that that information goes directly back where it came from, right, into the person's microtubules. But if somebody passes on, that information is just out there, right? Where does it go? We often have talked about this when it comes to paranormal investigation and what people consider ghosts or spirits. And, a lot of people want to think it's someone's, actual something lifts out of their body. And essentially it does in a way with the consciousness theory, right, lifts out of their body and then it's out there. Does it automatically ascend somewhere? I guess, everyone's different religious beliefs are going to believe one thing or the other. Yeah.
Right.
But when it comes to electrical impulses, there's a lot of things we don't see every day. We don't see sound waves. We don't see electricity necessarily. We don't see radio waves. Mm-hmm. So, but we know it's there, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so this theory is that that's where everything goes. And that's what they think is the soul of a person. Okay, so I found it very interesting when I first heard the theory. And when we started using the spirit box, it really became more interesting to me. Yeah. And there's a good reason for it. As you both know, whenever we've used this on a personal basis, you don't just necessarily get something that happened in the location you're at, per se. Okay, let's say you're going to an old abandoned insane asylum, and it's supposed to be all the spirits of the patients who died there. Right. How many times have we been doing this, and we get random things coming in from all over the place, even from locations that are far, far and away from where we're at, or different languages. Absolutely. So it makes a lot of sense to me that the way this works, which Anthony will explain to us how the spirit box itself works, it's almost like it's sending out a signal in a way that whatever is out there in this quantum consciousness can hear, and they're attracted to.
Yeah.
And then they come and imagine that, let's say your consciousness was still alive out there somewhere, even if your body's no longer here.
Right.
But no one's talking to you.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to talk to you. So, but then you hear somebody that's out there going, can anybody hear us? Can, are you out there? Well, I think you would probably want to jump on that, right? Which is why there are a lot of times where when you're doing the spirit box session now, you have so many people that seem to want to talk to you
like
at once.
overlapping, yeah.
Yes. And so you're like, wait, everyone slow down.
Yeah.
We need to be able to hear you. You're talking over each other.
Right.
So this is why I think this holds true in what we do.
I think it's interesting too the way you describe it as a supercomputer of the brain, because when you think of it in terms like that, the quantum consciousness, for lack of a better term, is kind of like the cloud.
Right. Absolutely.
Information goes to the cloud, and then you can pull it back from anywhere wirelessly, right?
Yeah.
Well, if your body stays alive, you can download that information back.
Right.
But if your body is no longer there, that information is in the cloud.
Yeah. It's
And
stored
we
there.
use the spirit box. Maybe we're drawing that energy back like we would if we're using our smartphone to draw something from the cloud.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
A researcher and paranormal expert, Johnny L. Tenney.
Right.
We're big fans of his.
Absolutely.
He is very well known because he had a near-death experience when he was just a teenager. He died. He was dead for 6 minutes.
Wow, that's a long time.
And he describes being in this void, in this darkness, and he just understood immediately that he is nothing and everything at once.
Yeah.
That, that's what life is afterwards.
Right.
To me, it kind of sounds like he was in that quantum consciousness. Like he was in that nothingness until he was brought back.
Right.
And that's kind
That
of
makes
what,
so much sense to me.
you know?
And you mentioned the void, and Allie can attest to this too. It's funny because, there are a lot of things that you see in horror movies that Insidious. When have you seen Insidious, Ray? Okay,
have.
so you know what I'm talking about then. When he goes into what they call the further, and it's just completely black, but you can see people pop in and here and there and whatnot. And sometimes it's a lot of people. That's a very good description of what times Allie can sometimes see things during these sessions.
Yeah.
And she will describe it was kind of like being in the further.
Yeah.
And you just kind of see someone.
Right.
Sometimes it's people I know, sometimes it's not,
Right.
And
And for me, I've never been like you where I can make out a lot of features of people, but you'll have the eye mask on and your eyes closed, and all of a sudden you'll see a light just rush in front of you
Yeah.
where there's no light,
Yeah.
or you'll almost feel people right in front of you. It's a really interesting feeling, to say the least.
It's almost as if they're all like crowded around in front of me trying to get their turn.
Yeah, especially for you.
Yeah.
So,
Sounds to me like you could either accept you're a part of the consciousness or you can't accept it because you have this mindset when you pass away of where you're supposed to go.
right.
Yeah.
And then if you're not there, then you're constantly just wandering around like, where am I? What's going on here?
We've had many times where people sound very, very confused.
Yeah.
A lot of people who had a very religious notion of where they're supposed to be going.
Right.
We get asked all the time, where's heaven? Or,
Yeah.
or we can't find heaven. Or, people, I would imagine, would be very disorienting at
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
So without dragging that on too long, because we have so much we want to do in this
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
Anthony, why don't you explain to people who may not be familiar with how the spirit box works and what the Estes Method is?
Well, I'll show you first the spirit box. We personally like the SB7 spirit box here.
The OG.
Just because it's purely for spirit box function. It doesn't have any other features like EMF or anything like that to
Right.
interfere. But this device is pretty much a radio that scans at a high frequency rate. So it scans very fast. And what this does is it generates white noise. And the theory is that any energies, spirits, whatever you want to call it, can use that white noise to communicate through it. Now, there's different schools of thought. It could be purely them physically interacting with the device to speak to someone who's listening. Or there's a component where people think it's psychic almost. Like it's tapping into your third eye kind of, to where when you're listening to this white noise, it opens you up.
Right.
And you can hear the other side of, on that, what's going on over there.
Yeah.
This method that we're going to be using today, the Estes Method, was developed by Randall and Karl Pfeiffer, who were investigators at the
Stanley
Hotel in Estes Park, which is why it's called the Estes Method. And they found that They wanted to kind of eliminate the possibility of audio pareidolia,
Explain what that is.
which, for those of you who don't know, it's when you listen to the spirit box. Some people think that you could be hearing things you want to hear. You can pull things out, and they think you can be imagining what you're hearing because you want to hear. Like if you're trying to communicate with a loved one, and you hear their name calling to you, or they say a specific word to you. Well, of course you want to hear from them, so you're going to hear what you want to hear.
And that usually happens when you aren't using the headphones, right?
Yeah,
Right.
of course.
Yeah.
Because then you can hear, like, if I'm asking questions, he'll know what question I ask, and then maybe hear what he just wants to hear. That's the
theory.
The skeptic's thought process.
Yeah.
On the
So,
box.
in an effort to eliminate that and try and get better results, which I think we can test really does, we have a blindfold and we have noise canceling headphones here. What we're going to do is we're going to put that on Allie. She's going to not be able to hear or see anything.
Yeah.
And with that in mind, she's going to listen to the spirit box, and we're going to be able to ask questions without her knowing what it is we're asking. And then we're going to see what comes through.
Right.
You know,
And she'll only repeat what she hears, not, there's going to be a lot of chatter that happens. And so when you're listening as the person, like she would be the receiver, you try and just narrow it down to words you absolutely know that you hear, and then she'll say them out loud. So we'll see if they coincide with what we ask. And a lot of times they may not. They may just be people trying to talk to her.
we often let the conversation steer itself because you never know who's going to come through. And that's the beauty of the Estes method, is it eliminates that idea that you are directing the evidence. And instead you're letting the evidence happen to you.
Yeah.
And that's what I think it makes this such a beautiful technique.
I love it.
I agree.
So-
I think it was brilliantly developed by Connor and Karl.
Yeah.
And for anyone who may not know, the Stanley Hotel is the famous hotel that inspired the Stephen King to write The Shining.
Yeah.
That's where he stayed and had his own experience there.
It's notorious for being one of the more haunted hotels
Locations in
the
America.
world.
And so Connor and Karl were the resident paranormal investigators there at the Stanley for many years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where they developed it.
Yeah.
So now that everyone knows what we're going to be doing, we're going to drop this over to Allie so she can explain a little bit about how it affects her.
Yeah. So they know, but I'm an empath, which basically means, I'm in tune highly with other people's emotions and feelings. But I'm also a paranormal sensitive, where that's when you can actually sense spirits or entities, whatever you want to call it, around you. I've always had this since I was young. But for a long time, it freaked me out. It's overwhelming, if you are paranormal sensitive. So I ignored it for a long time. I mean, you guys have always been into the paranormal a lot. And over the years, we kind of got more into the investigative part, obviously.
Right.
It was at that point that I guess my interest was more piqued. And I wanted to see where we could go with it, especially when the spirit box was involved. We initially started using it after we had lost both my grandparents, and we wanted to communicate with them and see, what's going on? Where are they? Are they okay? All those questions you have in your head when you lose a loved one,
Absolutely.
And when we started using it, we did get intelligent responses from my grandparents that were things they only should know.
Right.
I mean, they call out for her all the time with her specific nickname.
Right. Which,
Constantly.
skeptics will sit here and say, well, I won't say skeptics. Let me rephrase that. People who think everything's a demon or evil.
Yeah.
Will say, how do you know you're not talking to a demon? They're not coming through and saying this, that, and the other thing.
Right.
Nobody but my immediate family knew of that nickname, and it's very specific.
Yeah.
So, there's that. There's him recognizing Anthony's dog
Yeah.
by name.
My grandmother will say my cat's name, who
Right.
she loved. She loved her. And
Right.
she's still, weirdly enough, I'll see my cat in my room sometimes looking around the room as if she sees something.
Right.
And I always wonder, is that my grandma paying her a visit, So things like that have come up on the spirit box. And we've also been doing the Estes method for a while now.
Right.
When I do it, as we talked about, I mean, I can see things sometimes when I'm under it. I go really deep, and it will be like you're in a void, and all of a sudden you can just see someone walking around, or you see a face, or the light, I see that constantly. Or sometimes it even feels like, even though I'm using this black blindfold,
Right.
it feels like this shadow came over it somehow.
Yeah.
Which is really weird because it's hard to even figure out how that's possible.
One of my favorites that happened one time when she was under was where she suddenly could see almost like she was in the woods, but there was snow.
Yeah.
And there was a couple who she did not know and had never seen.
Right.
And they stopped what they were doing and turned around almost to look directly at her.
Yeah.
To look back at her like they were doing something they shouldn't be doing, and they got caught. And then they were staring like they were staring at her, even though she was under with the blindfold on.
Yeah. It was almost as if I had transported,
Right.
weirdly, somewhere completely different.
Right.
So how that works, I mean, I couldn't specifically tell you, but I'm very sensitive. So I mean,
Right.
Could be a whole nother episode about
yeah, exactly.
other worlds and where she goes.
Yeah.
'Cause, astral projection.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a whole other
Exactly.
subject. But today's purpose, we
Yeah.
want to demonstrate this technique for you. When she puts this on, we're going to do a shortened version, obviously, because
Yeah.
normal investigations could take, we can do an hour-long session on this
Yeah.
if it gets really going. But we're going to do a session, 10, 15 minutes. When I tap her to come out, it will be jarring. She will jump.
Yeah.
Because when you're so under and so into it that you're really not aware of your surroundings anymore. And so to bring her out, I'm going to have to tap her like this, and she will jump.
More than likely, yes.
Yeah.
But that's our goal right
And
now.
when I'm done, we're actually going to have our producer, Ray,
Hello.
try the Estes method himself for the very first time. He's never done this before.
Right.
So, I mean, that'll be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Be
But-
interesting to say the least.
Yeah. So, I mean, want to get into it?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is here, we don't know specific history of the building, of the area.
Nothing.
So anything could happen. And it doesn't even have to be tied to this specific location.
Yeah.
She's like a beacon pretty much in that darkness. So when this comes on and she goes under, whoever's around is coming to come talk to her. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So,
Should be fun.
Yeah.
all right. So
All right, let's get these off.
let's get this going.
And, when you watch paranormal television, any of the shows out there that might be on, everything's they put the most exciting things on, of course, right? So you're going to see what it's really like to do a session and be like, well, maybe it's quiet today. Maybe it's super active.
Yeah.
Maybe it all makes sense, or maybe none of it makes sense. So this is more about how it really is when you're doing a paranormal investigation.
So as you can see, she's putting the blindfold on right now.
Gotta be careful. I got
And if you can hear through, I don't know if you can hear right through like this static. Okay, that's if we were just doing a regular spirit box session without the Estes method, you'd hear really loud white noise static. And the thing about the spirit box is it's scanning so fast through these stations, it can't really land and stay on a station to where you should be able to hear words and sentences.
Yeah.
So,
All right, you ready?
I'm gonna put it on and then just hand me that.
And I will tap you, so just be prepared, all right?
I'll be as prepared as I can be.
All right.
now,
We're going to test to make sure she's completely under. Alyssa?
can you hear
Play it.
Play it. Okay.
All right, so she's under now. We're going to try and not ask it too loud. We're going to just ask the questions, and we're going to let the conversation be steered naturally. So,
Sometimes it might, and you'll notice this, Ray, when you do it, it might take like a minute to sink in and get used to like all the stuff that's going to be coming through. And then you'll be able to hear what you hear, and you let us know.
so who's here with us today?
Who's that?
My name is Anthony.
I'm Christina,
This is Ray, our producer.
and this is Allie with the headphones on. She's listening to you.
Alyssa?
Yeah,
This is Alyssa, yes.
that's Alyssa. I noticed how I said Allie, but they knew her full name.
Can you tell us who we're talking to?
Is this someone we know?
It sounded like I'm listening.
Okay, that's good. In case we don't know you, we're just here to see who might be around, who might want to communicate. We mean you no harm.
We're here just to talk. We're not here expecting anything from you. If you don't want to talk, that's fine. We're just here to give you a voice.
The machine that Allie here is holding can help us hear you, and she can hear you. So anything you'd like to share with us, you can feel free.
You get me?
Okay.
Did you tap the table?
I did, yes.
Okay,
Sorry, that
yeah,
was
sure.
me.
Okay, we get you. Yes, we understand that you're here. I know we can't see you, but we know that you're here. Can you tell us your name, or if you're from the area?
Sounded like breathing. And I saw a couple flashes of light.
That's the other thing too.
Breathe with me.
Breathe with you. Interesting.
Yeah, because she is an empath. She not only hears things, but she can see things pretty clearly too.
Beautiful.
Okay. She is beautiful, isn't she?
So yeah, she might get some images here too. We don't know yet.
So, is anyone here a soldier? This area has a lot of history of wars.
There's someone like underneath. I can't hear all the way.
You can come to the front. If you're in the distance, you can come toward that sound you're hearing.
It sounded like me.
Me.
Hello, me.
You hear something?
Yeah, yeah.
I know this may be confusing. This is our first time doing this in your area. This device.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, what's your name? Sometimes you'll notice
Lots of flashes of light.
they're coming. The longer we are into it, more people might start hearing and coming toward whatever draws them to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you can't say anything, you can maybe show Allie an image, a picture. Maybe show yourself. She could tell us.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Allie can hear you. You can keep talking to her.
Do you know what year it is?
More people saying hey.
Hello, everyone.
Everyone, welcome. How many people are here with us right now?
Sounded like can you see?
Well, we can't see you physically.
Chris.
Hi. My name is Chris or Christina. Do I know you? Allie might be able to see you mentally if you show her who you are.
Someone said something, but it was like so low.
If you could speak up a little louder.
Trying.
Trying.
Okay.
We appreciate you trying.
Thank you for trying.
I can imagine this might be new for you.
Has it been a long time since someone living reached out to talk to you?
Sounded like so Christy.
Is this someone we know, a relative?
Sometimes my parents would call me Christy, though that is not the...
Mom.
Mom.
Is that you, Mom? That's not the nickname I was referring to, though.
No.
My mom called me Christy a lot.
Me.
Okay.
If that's my grandmother, can you say Alyssa's cat's name for us?
Yes.
Okay.
That'd be great. Could you?
Can you say it?
Let's have Alyssa repeat it to us.
Sounded like something about like why are you here, maybe?
Okay. Well, again, we are here just to show people the possibility of being able to talk to those who have passed on already. Are you aware that you have passed away?
Wait,
We're not going yet. We're still here.
Yeah, we're here.
Can tell us anything. I heard that from here.
Yeah, that was loud.
someone said something about a fire, but I don't know what they were trying to say.
Did you die in a fire?
Show them.
Okay, can you show Allie maybe what you're talking about? Show her an image. This is the other reason I like letting the conversation dictate itself. Because we're
That
not,
was a very weird breath,
yeah, that happens.
almost like they're trying to breathe.
Okay. Like they were suffocating maybe.
And a fire, I mean, smoke.
Well, here's the thing that I was going to mention, I hadn't mentioned, but we are not far from where the Midlothian mines disaster happened.
Yes, that's true.
Out here where there was a big mine collapse, a lot of people died, and suffocating would
Kind
go.
of like a car starting.
Okay. That might go along with that. But the other thing I was saying was,
You are?
yeah, we are. We're very close. If she doesn't even know what we're going to ask ahead of time and we're not asking questions we expect her to say the response to, it lends a lot more, I think, credibility too to whatever it is she is hearing.
8.
8. Were you one of the miners that passed away around here?
They're asking something like you guys. I don't know if they're asking for a recording or.
We get that sometimes when
Yeah.
they see that we're recording. Yeah, we are trying to record this to kind of show people that they don't have to be afraid of things like this.
Yeah. It's okay to talk to you, in other words.
Right. Do you like talking to us?
One.
Okay. By the way, if you have a question, Ray, you can ask.
Is there a specific person you like talking to right now?
Sounded like help.
How can we help you?
Outside.
Outside.
Waiting.
Oh, you're outside waiting to come in?
This place is starting to cut off.
Oh, Ray, do you want to invite them in?
Does it fill up?
Philip?
No, this place is starting to fill
Oh,
up.
fill up. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, she was saying a bunch of people started coming in. Must be getting crowded in here.
That's true.
Hang on.
Every
We. It's like we are, but it's not continuing.
everyone can have a turn at saying something. What can we do to help you? Somebody was asking for help. How can we do that? Do you have a message? Stay. Okay. You know, we can come back and do this another time. Or you could come to wherever we're at, where we're doing this, and talk to us.
Sounded like a distant scream, which was very weird.
Okay.
This space is a safe space if you wish to talk to us. Just so everyone knows.
Sounded like, hi, honey.
Hi there.
Hello?
Who's this?
Can you hear this is what someone said. Can you hear me?
Well, Allie can hear you right now through the device that we're using, and she's telling us what you're saying.
Big flashlight.
Are you trying to show Allie a mental picture?
Chris.
I'm still here. I'm right here. Who's this? Can you tell us your name?
What's new?
What's new? Well, this is new. We're recording our podcast with Morissette Media. We're in a studio. We have new puppies that are called Luke and Leia. They're pretty cool.
I don't know if someone touched my elbow, but it felt like someone touched my elbow.
Okay. No. If you're touching Allie, makes her a little uncomfortable when
Totally.
Totally? Okay. When she's doing this. So you can touch me. You can touch Anthony.
Yeah.
Totally up to Ray.
You can touch me.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it.
Got it. Thank you.
I appreciate that.
I'd like to say what's new with you. Can you tell us what it's like where you are?
Hear you.
Okay, good.
Keep hearing doors shut, which is like back to back.
I always find that interesting. We'll have that too, or they'll say something like, we need the door to open or the window to open. Mm-hmm. It's almost like they need like an entrance and exit point.
Yeah.
Is the door open for you? Does that help?
You heard that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Sounds
just
like
heard that.
maybe Allie.
Okay.
It's very fast.
It was loud.
It was pretty loud. There have been times where we've heard a scream that you can hear really loudly while she
Hey.
has it on. Hi.
Hi there.
Hello.
It's a lot of people trying to say hello right now.
Okay. You're all welcome. You're welcome. Anyone who wants to shout their name out.
We're here.
We're glad you're here. Does it feel good to talk
Are
to
you
people?
new?
Are we new?
Well, we are living, just so you know. We are visitors using this device to talk to you. We are not staying on your side, but we're here visiting so we can speak to you in a way. Allie can't stay with you. We get that a lot in our sessions where they'll ask Allie to stay or to come with them somewhere.
Yeah. Come with us.
And
Sounds good.
Okay, good.
thank you for understanding. We're going to be bringing Allie out soon.
Yeah.
And actually bringing our producer in so you can speak to him.
Sounded like a quiet out there.
It's quiet out there.
Quiet out there.
My answer,
Okay. What's your answer? Do you want to bring her out?
Yeah.
That way we have time.
Yeah.
for Ray.
All right. We're going to jump.
I heard 15 and 20.
Okay. 15 and 20.
Here we go.
Good. All right. That was good.
Yeah.
Pass.
Testing, testing. All right. I'm ready.
All right.
Hello.
All right. Now we got our producer right here, and he's never done this before.
Nope.
So I think it's going to be a fun adventure. And just to see if somebody who's has no experience with this at all, what they might hear. And so again, just try and center yourself for a minute, get used to like the things that are coming through, and then you just say out loud the things you hear clearly.
Okay.
Okay?
Understood.
You'll need this and some.
Let me set this up. The second one?
Yeah.
All right.
Interesting noises.
Okay, you're going to want to, here's the spirit box. Don't press any of the buttons. Okay. I'm going to put it in your hand right here. And just kind of hold on to the antenna without pressing any buttons.
The antenna?
No, this right here.
Okay.
I'm hearing someone wants to talk. And I will put these on.
Thank you. Whoa. So just repeat things I hear?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Just repeat
Yeah.
what you hear.
All right.
You guys ask the questions. 'cause
I can't hear you guys at all.
Okay, good.
Hello.
Hi there, guys. Now we're testing this theory out with our producer.
This is Ray.
This is Ray. So, can you say his name back to us?
Don't touch me.
Okay. Okay.
Don't worry, we're not here to touch you.
Whoa.
It's disconcerting at first.
This is why we wanted to test this, because this is showing the authenticity of it all.
Please.
This is what they don't show you a lot in the paranormal shows. It's not always very clean, neatly tied up
Right.
like they make it out to be. This often takes many days, if not sometimes even weeks of investigating
Right.
to get certain answers. So you can't always dictate where the sessions will take you.
So again, I'm not supposed to be talking
Yeah.
as much. You guys.
Jesus. Sorry.
My name is Anthony.
It said a lot just now, just a lot of noises, some robotic beeping almost,
Yeah, we
like
did.
very submerged underwater. And
Yeah.
then sound like somebody was singing. And then somebody just said, "Here we are."
Okay, hi.
Interesting.
So like I said, I'm Anthony. This is Allie. That's Christina. And this is our producer, Ray, who's listening to you guys right now. This is a lot for him. He's never done this before. So if you guys can kind of come together collectively to speak, maybe one of you guys speaks for everyone.
Yeah.
So if you can tell us maybe how many people are here.
It's happening.
Yeah, this is happening. Yeah, can you tell us how many people are here right now in the room?
Poor Ray.
I know he's like, why'd you do this?
Next.
Next. Okay, how about anyone want to tell us their name?
Yeah. Any of you.
Anyone who's willing. No one is forcing you. You don't have to if you don't want to.
Somebody?
Okay.
It jumps out at you sometimes.
Yeah. Sounds like maybe someone's a little playful
Yeah.
with their answers today.
Do you want to say any of our names back?
Who
to-
is?
Somebody who is, and sometimes it's delayed like
Yeah,
that.
that's
Yeah.
the thing. Or there's a lot of people at once.
I know it's a lot of energy. You were saying somebody who is. Can you finish that thought?
That was a weird noise.
I heard some singing almost. Like an old woman singing, kind of far away.
Wow, interesting.
Nice.
Allie's actually gotten like entire choruses, like almost like angelic. You could like
Yeah,
if you imagine a movie.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, we get music a lot, like
Yeah.
singing.
That last thing that happened almost sounded like it was outside.
Yeah.
It
Of the
did
spirit
sound
box.
probably Since I did it.
No. Unless it was really loud. But
We'll
it
have to
sounded-
have our producer look back at this when he's editing.
Say again.
I'm hearing the robotic stuff that he's hearing.
Go ahead.
Ray is hearing a woman singing, an old woman singing. Can that woman identify herself? Is she in the room with us still?
It's hard to pick up what they say.
Mm-hmm.
Do any of us know you? Who is singing? Ray's gonna hate us after this.
I know. He's like, oh, future experiments? I'm out.
So that's our podcast, and sure.
I can't explain what I'm hearing almost. It's very distorted.
I might have to do a whole Patreon investigation with Ray.
I think we need to.
I think they're
Doing-
excited Ray's doing it.
Yeah.
I know. Like, oh, let's show this guy how
I
it's
have to
done.
go to like Hollywood Cemetery and just have him strap in.
Yeah.
I feel
What do you feel?
Yeah, tell us what you feel.
Never that.
something.
I feel something.
Are you happy we're here doing
Whoa.
this?
One more.
One more.
One more person? Are you saying someone else has entered the room, or that I heard?
There's, yeah.
Yeah, there's the people that way.
No, I'm hearing clicking,
I don't
almost like someone's clicking something.
really.
Kind of like in this area right here.
Is this new energy exciting for you guys?
Oh, that was weird.
Beep.
Can you help us? That's what I heard
Yeah.
from here.
I have something.
What do you have?
It's almost like two different people saying that I have and then something.
Okay.
Interesting.
They might be talking to each other, which we
Yeah.
often get.
Yeah, sometimes they'll just ignore us and have their own conversations, and we have to kind of try and piece together what they're talking about.
Right.
Sometimes it's about us because they think,
Like
We're the ghosts.
We're the ghosts. Yeah.
which, you know, it's this whole other subject.
The look on his face is priceless, I gotta say. Just watching someone who's never done this before.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
an interesting experience.
I heard a help me a little bit.
See,
See?
yeah, they're looking for help.
Yeah. I always feel bad when we hear that because, you know, I feel like they think since we can hear them that we can somehow pull them back from where they are,
Yeah.
Or
change their
put them
situation.
where
Yeah.
they want to be.
Right.
Yeah. All we can do is be a voice for them and
Yeah.
give them the opportunity to be heard. As you want to do more,
Yeah.
especially with harder cases or,
Right.
you know, involves, you know, more serious subjects. But
Yeah.
it is interesting because we're so used to this.
Station.
Station.
Station. Oh, is this like the station they're on?
I don't know.
Basketball.
Okay. Well, there's
Well, they
basketball. Yeah.
They
That.
do the basketball podcast
Yeah.
here, right?
Have you watched them?
Do you want to see?
Okay.
Yeah, we'd love to see.
Absolutely. Can you
Show us something.
show Ray something?
Yeah.
Have you been here when they recorded the other podcasts involving basketball and sports? Yeah, I'm hearing the clicking over there.
What?
I don't know what that is.
I'll have to ask him after if it's a piece of equipment.
Yeah.
All right. I'm probably going to bring him out in a minute.
Yeah, he has one.
Determination.
Okay. I know.
Feel bad.
In 50.
In 50?
That's like how long until we
Yeah.
bring him out. That's funny.
That is funny.
Is there anything else you want to say, even to Ray, before we pull him out?
Wait till he hears one more thing.
Morgan.
Oh, hi, Morgan.
Hello, Morgan. Morgan.
It's perfect.
Okay.
Morgan, would you like us to come back and do this?
43.
43. Poor thing.
Would you like us to do this again? Maybe in a video investigation?
You know?
You know.
We're going to have to pull Ray out.
Yeah. Thank you for talking to Ray and for talking to Allie and for participating in this with us.
Yeah.
We're going to have to take Ray away.
We will try and come back another time, or you can follow us and talk to us at another location.
Right.
But thank you for your time, and wish you well, and we'll be back again soon. So thank you guys.
Yes, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Ray's about to be scared, so here we go.
Here we go.
Wow.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, that was very interesting.
Yeah. It's different when you do it yourself, right?
Yeah, I had no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you really do get kind of sound bites and clips of people just speaking.
Right.
It's really hard to put together. And
Right.
I was only speaking like, it's very bright in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Half
only
of what
saying
you're hearing, right?
Almost, yeah, like about a third. So,
Yeah, a lot of times it can be, you have to really train yourself to shut everything out and narrow down what they're saying. And some things are very definitive and they're just like, boom.
yeah, like I heard the name Morgan pretty loudly.
We heard it from here.
Yeah.
A couple times, certain things we would hear real loud on our end. And one time there was something that sounded, and this happens, like it wasn't in the earphones, like it was outside of the spirit box. And it sounded almost like a something.
When you were saying the same.
Yeah.
The old woman singing.
Yeah, I kept hearing that. I heard that 3 times at least.
It almost sounded like some woman humming or
Yeah, it was so weird. It just sounded like it was from like a sonophone or whatever those old
like an old xylophone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
Right.
That was something. That,
It's a weird experience when you've never done it and you think, oh, you can't really be hearing people talk, right? And then you hear it and you're like, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, there's definitely some weird sounds going in my ears. I have no idea.
Yeah. And other times, like at the end when you're saying it sound like 2 people talking, sometimes it's them having a conversation that you're hearing.
That is because I was hearing the same 2 kind of come up, and it almost sounded like it was like 2 different shows almost, like, and it would cut over one another and respond to each other. So
Yeah.
definitely.
And then it was like you said, I feel, and then something, but it wasn't all right together. But that happens sometimes, like with her when she said, this room is starting to, and then fill up later.
Okay.
So it's like a delay.
So I might have needed to piece it together a little more, be more patient next time.
It just takes practice.
Yeah,
And
it took us a while to get used to this, but it happens.
I hear a little bit better than Anthony does as far as being able to decipher things, but she's way better than the both of us. And that'll happen sometimes where some people can really take to it, and you might find you heard more than I thought you would hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
On that first night.
I have an active imagination,
Right.
so some of it might be what you said, me trying to hear it, but also, I mean, there was something, like, I don't know where I got basketball from, but I
we
heard
thought about that. You guys shoot a basketball podcast here.
we do.
There are
but
images on the wall. I mean, you never know.
I felt like I heard a lot of different stuff, but that was really crazy.
Yeah.
I wanted to know, are you closing your eyes under the blindfold, or do you try to leave them?
I close them just because it gets me further into that space, you know?
Yeah.
Because just in case something like leaks through the blindfold, it shouldn't, but,
Right.
you know, just in case.
It's a comfy blindfold.
Yeah.
It's
Right?
very soft.
I wear it sometimes to sleep.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Well, thank you for doing that, Ray. That was awesome.
Of course, thank you guys for letting me
you.
try.
Of course.
I'll be behind the cameras again.
All righty. All right. Well, that was our Estes Method Spirit Box investigation. I hope everyone enjoyed it and got a little glimpse into what it's really like to do that method in a setting. We may not know anything about the history of this building, but our general area has a lot of history, the birthplace of our nation.
Yeah.
So, you never know. It was fun. I thought we got some decent hits on things.
I'm excited.
It was fun to watch Ray do it.
Yeah,
That was so
was
much
really
fun.
Yeah.
the expression on your face you're going to see, it was pretty priceless.
Yeah, I'm excited to edit this video.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And what you want to tell them what we're going to do for the next podcast?
I was just going to say, like, I love this because, you know, it shows real life investigating. Because a lot of times when you're watching an hour-long program of a show on TV, they try and wrap it up very neatly because it's television, you know?
Sure.
But the reality is it takes a lot more time, and this will probably yield way more questions than answers right now.
Right.
But that's the fun of investigating. That's the fun of the paranormal.
Right.
Is there's always more to explore. So I hope you guys got that through our technique, and that we'll try and do more stuff like this in the future.
Oh, yeah.
But next time, our next episode, you may have noticed that there's been quite a few UFO sightings recently.
Just
Just a few.
Here and there.
And the interesting thing is the sightings that we've seen, there's actually a lot of history of other sightings like this. And you may think, well, Roswell, of course, but there's actually more that came before Roswell.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a little bit more about that next time and get into the history of UFO sightings.
Some of the most famous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
So-
we'll see if anything gets shot out of the sky between now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have even more to talk
We'll
about.
see,
Yeah.
right? So,
All right. Well, thank you again, everybody. We had a good time, and we will be back soon.
right. And remember, don't fear the unknown.